Do you ever open your phone and forget what you're looking for?
Unfortunately, often.
Hello, welcome to Reality Checks. I'm your host, Brian, and I'm joined today by Jon Yantz, managing partner at M&C Saatchi Performance. Welcome.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, Brian. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, it's a fun topic, something that touches all of our hearts, or at least our pockets, and that's our phones. So, what are we talking about with phones today?
Yeah, so I believe we're going to go into some questions around overall usage for everyone in the US and hopefully find some interesting nuggets. My phone is attached to my hip, so I imagine everyone else's as well, but I guess we'll see.
You haven't seen the data, right? We're seeing this live.
Seeing it live.
All right, let's dig in. So, like you mentioned, a little bit about phone usage. First question is, how often do you think Americans say that they check their phones?
Uh, I would, I mean, I think mine is very high, so I'd go with like 500.
500
If we're
uh,
talking about per day,
per
yeah.
day. Okay, so 500 is the guess. What Americans said that they did was less than that.
Okay, wow. All right, all right. Interesting. If I'm not checking it, yeah, I would absolutely be in the 100 plus. Yeah.
Do you think that Americans are accurate that they think they check it as much as they do?
I guess I wonder how much it would vary by age and demographic, but I would at least think at least coming from New York and taking the subway and checking, everything from is it on time? Are there delays to banking, to games, to social media? Between all of that, let alone actual using my phone for work, I I don't know. I would think it would actually be higher.
Yeah, there could be a bit of a disconnect between what people think they do versus what they do, but also maybe people are, looking at their phone for 3 hours and that counts as one, as opposed to, the you get on the train, you put your phone in your pocket, you sit down, you look at it, someone does something weird, you put it down, then you look at it again. You have a few more opportunities.
Yeah, this is true.
How many paid app subscriptions do Americans have?
Paid app. That's probably maybe it's more than I'm thinking, but I would probably say somewhere between like six and eight. So if I had to, I'd say six.
So six. Okay. Yeah, and then this is also I think this is tricky because we tried to specify that it's like paid apps that they access on their phones. But
Hmm.
if I think about myself, like Amazon Prime, I might not consider that a paid app subscription, but I do access on my phone. Or like the internet. I have an internet app, technically a subscription. That
Yeah. I didn't think of it that way. So maybe it is higher, but yeah, really good point. Netflix, etc. Yeah.
um, but then there are also a lot of older Americans who might not use their phones as much or for the same purposes. Uh, we had a
Ooh,
lot who said none, but probably 2 to 3, 2 to 5 is the sweet spot.
okay. Interesting. Yeah. And I guess depending on the generation, to your point, maybe either more income, disposable income, so to speak, versus less, or more tech savvy versus less. I'm sure there are a lot of nuances here.
And yep, like
But
you mentioned, one of the nuances is kind of age
oh,
group or generation. So
perfect.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to guess based off what you just said, but if you want to kind of walk through maybe kind of an age group that you think might have more than others.
I guess I would say millennials probably, and I count myself in that group as an elder millennial, mainly because on especially on the older end, if there's a little bit more disposable income, that might be something you'd probably be having more of. versus other generations that are still in very much the sharing logins with family and things like that. So I'm not sure. Let's
So
see.
yeah, millennials is a sweet spot between tech savvy and bit of disposable income.
Yep, that's my thinking anyway.
And here we've got the green is more. So I think there's a lot going on, but I would say that you have that right with the 30 to 44 range there.
Okay, really interesting. Yeah, I guess, and it really jumps up the none as you go into the older generations.
Yeah, I might have given
Okay.
that away previously.
But okay, all right. That makes enough sense, I would think. But yeah, once you add in things like Netflix, where I primarily think, for me anyway, I would think about on the big screen versus the cell phone. So, um, very cool.
Why do Americans download apps? And we gave them a bunch of different examples that we kind of worked together on the survey to kind of put in, but we asked them to think about the last app they downloaded and why they downloaded it.
I So working at a media agency, I would love if people said saw an ad. However, I don't know if that will always be the self-reported answer. Um, I think there's got to be something with saw someone else using it, or well, that or recommended actually. I'd go recommended because I do think word of mouth and seeing what your friends are using and the newest type of app or whatever would be a big reason. I'd think things like necessary to complete a transaction or something you need for your daily life. Probably at this point, most people have their core apps, like whether that's banking, whether that's Amazon, to your earlier point. So I'd go recommended.
Recommended is the answer. The hopeful choice is saw an ad. Um, and the
Oh,
answer is found it on my own, which is probably saw an ad.
potentially, hopefully. Okay. Okay. Recommended is still in there compared to some of the others, but okay. That's interesting. I wonder where people are discovering, yeah, how they discover apps, honestly. Like that's my main curiosity. Either I'm personally hearing from a friend or I'm seeing, advertised on Instagram or something like that. So curious. I don't do my own proper discovery where I'm just truly trying to find something that new without being prompted by something else. So that's cool.
Okay, this is a big one. So we have different types of apps, and we asked Americans which they can't live without. We had them rank, what they can live with, or what they can't live without to what they can live without. Any that you think bubbled to the top as can't live without apps?
Hmm. I haven't had the best track record so far today, so let's see. I would. This one is interesting to me because I think I can't live without most of these. Like on a day to day life, social media, navigation, messaging, banking, games. I would I would have to assume messaging, although that would follow closely by social media and navigation. But surely you're probably texting or messaging in some way someone once a day.
Once a day. And then you'd also mentioned, I want to say you'd mentioned banking in there too.
Banking, I personally I use almost daily, just to make sure that I know what's happening. But I think you could obviously also go through the web, etc. So I think outside of messaging, maybe people would say social media or mobile games.
All right. Social media, messaging, mobile games. And the answer was uh,
Oh,
banking. That was a shock to me.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I do, but again, I don't know. I wouldn't have thought even higher than messaging, even higher than texting people, but okay. And mobile games much lower. Uh, I was up there with navigation apps and social media, so at least there's something. But banking, I wonder, outside of just making sure you understand what's happening with your accounts, which obviously is very crucial this day and age, I'm curious, you know, that more than messaging.
Well, I think if you think about like the what was it, 56% of baby boomers, or it wasn't babies, it was 65 plus Americans, but
Mm-mm.
majority don't have any paid subscriptions, and maybe that's a group that recognizes the value of not having
Mm.
to go to the bank every time they need to do something.
Yeah, yeah, interesting point. Yeah, or I, hmm, okay. I am stumped. I'm learning so much about the US population today.
This is why we do surveys. That's,
Exactly.
okay, final question. Which apps do men and women say they can't live without? So you kind of know the top five already,
Hmm.
but maybe
Yeah.
there's a different order.
Ooh. I mean, I don't want to go into just blatant stereotyping. So, I mean, clearly, so with banking, messaging, and social, no, I forget what the third was, but if banking and messaging were up there, um, I'm gonna say men. All right, men would say messaging and women would say banking.
Progressive.
Yep, I'm gonna flip it.
All right. I
Okay, what am I?
appreciate.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
I
right.
mean, it sounds
Well,
like you might have wanted to say something else, but you didn't want to say the wrong thing.
21 versus 20%. I'm going to say that's fairly even.
It is. Um, what do you, anything else on this stand out to you?
Interesting on the difference between navigation and social. I'm I, if we stick with stereotypes, there's always the old trope that men don't want to ask for directions. So maybe that makes sense that they're just going to focus on the app so that they don't have to actually ask anyone. Otherwise, no, I don't know. This is as an overall top three across the board, these make sense to me.
Well, thank you for joining Reality Checks. I hope you feel good. I feel like those are some hard questions.
Yeah, and very surprising as we went because I went into this with a lot of assumptions and now I'm pleasantly surprised. So it's always good to check and make sure that you're not, especially from a marketing standpoint, that you're not just going based off assumption. You have to check the actual reality of your audience. So this was really good.
Cool. Well, we didn't pay you to say that. I just want to clarify. Uh, but
Correct.
yeah, everything from this episode will have some of those generation cuts that we're talking about at yougov.com/reality checks. Um, John, do you want to be found? And if so, where? If not, where would you point people?
Sure. Find me on LinkedIn. Full name Jonathan Yantz. As it says, managing partner MNC Saatchi Performance, or go to mcsaatchiperformance.com.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much. You're a great guest and wish you the best.
Thanks so much, Brian. This was
Bye.
great.
Hey, thanks for watching Reality Checks. Everything you saw in this episode was based on a survey of 1,000 Americans using YouGov's Consumer Research Panel. If you want to survey those same Americans, you can. Just head over to yougov.com/realitychecks. You'll find more data about phone usage that we didn't get to in today's episode. I'm not reading anything, I just sound like a teleprompter. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go check it out. Until next time, I'm Brian. Kind of cool, right? But that's not anymore, but it was until